Hey everybody, it's Kennedy. Happy April. I love April. Obviously, Outlander is coming back, and so is Game of Thrones. So those are both cause to celebrate. But what's even more important and what makes me even happier is that April is when the rest of the world, it feels like the whole world, turns its attention to a cause that my family and millions of other families across the nation, across the world, deal with each and every day of every week of every month, and that's autism. For Autism Awareness Month, I am partnering with my very good friend, very gifted author, Ginger Scott, and we are championing, co-captaining the Lift campaign. And we did Lift last year. It was the first time we did Lift 2015. And that is basically, and it is, a charitable initiative to rally the romance reading community around the cause of autism. And last year was awesome. And our goal for this year was to be bigger, to be better, to be more beneficial to families who have children with autism. With that goal in mind, we are partnering with TACA. TACA is Talk About Curing Autism, and it's a national organization. 15 years, I think it's been around for 15 years. Nationally recognized, nationally respected, reputable organization that's been doing good work for a decade and a half in this country on behalf of our children, ASD children. They are tasked with supporting families who have children with autism, and they're doing an excellent job. They've been a help to my family and so many that I know. The awesome thing about this charitable partnership is that all of our efforts this year benefit their scholarship fund. And their scholarship fund is specifically to help families with, we're focusing on families with medical and therapy costs, families who have trouble affording those costs. And you may be thinking, okay, there's insurance. Insurance is very complicated for autism families from state to state, laws differing all across the nation. I'll just tell you a little bit about my family's history, our story. Over the next month, I'll blog a little bit. I'll write probably a lot about my family's situation and our history with autism. But needless to say, it was a difficult one. My son was diagnosed on a Thursday. The next day, my husband lost his job. My income was very modest, and we were left as a one-income household. And when I called the insurance company after my son was diagnosed with autism, and my husband lost his job within 24 hours, when I called the insurance company and I said, okay, we just got a diagnosis of autism, and I want to know, what support there is for my insurance company. And they said to me, we don't cover autism. Is there anything else wrong with your son? No, autism is quite enough. And for those who may not know, autism is a condition that it's a neurological and biological condition that affects socialization, communication, behavior, and is sometimes accompanied by medical complications. It is for many of our children, probably for the majority of our children, a lifelong condition, and it varies in severity. My son Miles is on the more severe end of the spectrum. He was diagnosed when he was 2 years old, and he's 15 now. He speaks very little. He still can't tie his shoes. He's cognitively about 5 years old and still carries around Cookie Monster, even though he's 6'3" now. He doesn't read except a few letters, and he can write his name. And he's absolutely exceptional, unequivocally awesome. And it's a privilege to raise him. It's a privilege to be involved with the autism community because of my connection to him. I'm very passionate about it. In addition to raising a child on the spectrum, 9 years ago, I started a foundation serving families in Georgia who have children with autism. This is not something that I focus on in the month of April. This is my life. Ginger and I both are very involved with the autism community beyond the month of April. Ginger is an advocate. She's a volunteer in her state there in Arizona, and she is also the aunt to a child on the autism spectrum. We're invested. We're concerned about this year-round, and we're just so glad that there's a month when we're all celebrating the amazing families who are living with this condition and raising incredible children. As I was saying, there are financial complications, and that's what my insurance company told me, and my husband and I, we had to make some really difficult choices throughout the next decade after my son was diagnosed. There were times when we had to decide, are we going to pay for therapy? Are we going to pay these medical bills? Or are we going to pay our car note? And we woke up one morning and our cars were gone. You know, we woke up one morning and we were about to lose our house. We woke up one morning and there were all of these complications because there wasn't enough support for families who have children with autism. But you know what? We lost a lot, but we gained a lot. We were given a lot. And there is it's actually a scripture, but it's a quote that has been a guiding force in my life. And that is, to whom much is given, much is required. When we were raising our son and we were running into so much difficulty with my husband losing his job, with this diagnosis, with these bills piling up that we didn't even know how we would manage, at the same time being so frustrated because we knew there were services that would help our son that we couldn't afford. When we were going through that, sometimes my pantry was empty. People showed up with groceries. People gave us cars when our cars were repossessed. People had our cars fixed anonymously when they broke down. People gave us money. But what was even more than that I found a vibrant, alive community of autism parents and professionals who guided us, who showed us how to get resources for our son, who directed us with wisdom and helped us along the way. And I was determined that I was going to give back. If you've ever been in a situation where you had to receive, you know it's humbling, and you know that when you're in a position to give, you will. And that's why I do this. That's why I do this, because I am incredibly passionate about making sure that if it's up to me, there will be at least one person who has it easier than I did, because we didn't have it easy. But we have a story. We have a story, and we have an incredible son, and we're stronger than we ever knew we would be. So that's a little bit about our story and a little bit about why Ginger and I are doing this. And you'll hear from Ginger later when she tells you a little bit about her story. But I want to talk just a little bit real quickly about this month and about the Lift campaign. We have an auction, and over 130 authors already have generously donated books and other items for auction. So have some bloggers. If you're an author or a blogger and you want to be involved and there's something you want to donate for auction, I'll put all the links here so that you can. We have a Lyft website, we have a Lyft Facebook group, we have a Lyft auction site. All of those links I'll list. But the auction will benefit TACA. Of course, I mentioned Talk About Curing Autism, their scholarship fund. We have a Teespring campaign. Those funds will also go toward TACA, or you can donate directly toward TACA this month. If you don't want to bid, if you don't want to buy a T-shirt, but you still want to support families who have children with autism and assist them with medical and therapy cost through TACA scholarship program, I'll have a link there as well. And I would love for you to use that link because it tracks, it's unique to our campaign and tracks the funds that we raise. There's so much that we're going to do this month, and we're really glad that you're involved. I hope watching this, there's something about it that has inspired, has compelled you to be involved in one of the ways I mentioned. We appreciate your involvement anyway, and we're looking forward to lifting this month with you. Thank you, guys.